But let's talk about War Games taking place this weekend up north in Canada. We have a women's War Games match. We have a men's War Games match. We have a World Heavyweight Championship rematch, a United States Championship, and an Intercontinental Championship on the line.
Yep. And this is my reaction. Eh.
I'm not shocked knowing how you are as a fan and knowing what interests you and what does not interest you. I think the main event is going to be an hour worth of cinema that I think we should all just sit and enjoy. And I don't think anybody knows what the hell is going to happen in this match. Even if we think we know, we don't know because that's been the bloodline situation the past 5 years. The reveal of Paul Heyman returning and CM Punk becoming the fifth man, I thought was chef's kiss. I thought that was one of the best SmackDown segments of the year. And I also like how, to me, it will play into the eventual CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, your guy match that we will get at WrestleMania 41. Because even though Seth Rollins did not want to team with his former Shield buddy, he will be upset that CM Punk is not beating up his arch rival.
Yep. I would have preferred if this match had stayed 4-on-4 and just been Bloodline against Bloodline. I didn't think there was a need for a fifth man, but whatever. I think it'll be a very good match. The story has been interesting at times. At other times, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. LA Knight's gonna win that match. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Gunther versus Priest. They had Priest give Gunther the Razor's Edge last night on Raw, so Gunther's gonna retain. I could see a scenario where they take the IC title off of Braun Breaker and give it to Sheamus because it's a triple threat.
And Sheamus has never won the title before, and it's his step to be a Grand Slam champion. And you have Sheamus maybe pin Ludwig Kaiser, and you give the title off Breaker. There's a lot of. I think that's gonna be a very fun match. Braun Breaker slowly becoming the most over superstars in the WWE. I think he's slowly turning face. Maybe that's how you get him to be a full-fledged babyface and losing the title. I don't know. And obviously, I think, Bayley, it's pretty clear it's going to become the fifth member of the Women's War Games match.
I already read the spoilers because they taped SmackDown.
They did.
I can tell you she is the fifth.
The interesting aspect of this is two things. Number one is who is going to be revealed as the attacker for Jade Cargill if they review it at Survivor Series. Is it going to be Naomi? Is it going to be Bianca? Is it going to be Bayley? And the other thing I have a question of, which I think would be a really interesting gimmick. What if, hear me out here, in the middle of the War Games match, Tiffy time takes place?
I mean, they teased that last year with Damian Priest before Randy Orton came out, so I could see it happening.
They did, but Rhea was obviously there with the briefcase. I'm talking about, what if Tiffany Stratton somehow opens the door or somehow communicates to the referee she wants to cash in mid-match on her teammate, and it's not Liv Morgan, it's Nia Jax.
Yeah. That would certainly be interesting, and I don't think it's something you can dismiss. It's interesting that they're putting Rhea right back into this spot, given that she just recently broke, her orbital bone or whatever it is. But I think that just makes her more of a badass.
My God. The pop she got last night on Raw, somebody in the internet a couple days before had said she's the Stone Cold Steve Austin of the women's of this generation. And I heard that pop, and I'm like, she might be. The pop she is getting is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and they teased the match again between her and Bianca. I'd like to see that singles match at WrestleMania. That's just me personally. I think they're going to go back to Rhea versus Liv at WrestleMania, which...
I told you at SummerSlam, this feud's going to go all the way to WrestleMania. And you told me you didn't think it was. I told you. It is.
the way they're doing it, it feels like it. I'm a little bit surprised that they've gone away from Priest versus Balor this quickly. I didn't think it would be a one and done type
Let me
situation.
throw this at you. What if the Judgment Day screw Priest again?
Maybe, but it seems like the Judgment Day are on the verge of breaking up.
I think they're teasing it a little. I don't think that's going to be the case yet. Um, I think as long as Rhea's still fighting Liv, Balor will still be fighting Priest in some sense.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I haven't really been paying a lot of attention to wrestling in general. Like I didn't watch AEW Full Gear or Wrestle Dream or All
I'm
Out.
shocked by that.
I mean, okay, with All Out, it was literally like a week or two after All In, so I didn't want to pay another $50. Um, with Wrestle Dream, I think I was working either a Cavs game or a Monsters game or something, and it was the same case with Full Gear, where I was working and the timing just didn't work out.
Didn't you always order the pay per view though and like watch it the next day? I swear you could. Maybe
Yeah, yeah, I can, but I it's
because
hard because all the pay per views are $50.
yeah,
So I don't know. I
I
know AEW is going to be moving to Max, so we'll see if they kind of go the WWE route where they they make it like premium live events, whatever. But yeah,
because I know for me, like War Game starts at 6 p.m. Eastern here on the East Coast. I will not be watching it till like after 9 because I'll be at a family event. I'll be able to get home by like 7:38. But unfortunately, on Peacock, I wish Peacock would do this thing where you can start from the beginning. You can catch up on a show late. You can't do that.
no. And I wouldn't be able to watch Survivor Series anyway because I'll be at a high school reunion. But even if I didn't have that, I probably would watch the Texas A&M game instead.
See, I think that this War Games, men's War Games match, it's not just about the match itself, it's about the stories that are coming out of it. Will Paul Heyman screw CM Punk and Roman Reigns? Does he align himself with the new bloodline? Does Seth Rollins get involved? Does the final boss appear either during the match or after the match? What is our main event for the first Raw on Netflix? There are so many what ifs in wrestling that we have not had a lot of time to get into because of all the sports that are going on. But I promise you, in January, when the college football playoff is over, when the NFL is just in their playoff phase, when we get to the Royal Rumble, we are going to be discussing basically what ifs in wrestling. Um, this may be my favorite what if ever going into 2025. If you guys have not, go on Brain's World, listen to my wrestling interview that I did with Michael Reiner. I alluded to him a couple segments ago when we were talking about the Steelers. He's a big professional wrestling fan. He wants to be a wrestling writer eventually in his career. He thinks about wrestling more strategically than anybody I have ever met in my life. And we discussed John Cena's retirement. We discussed Survivor Series. This was before Bronson Reed and CM Punk were named the fifth members of each team. We discussed the Rumble. We discussed WrestleMania. All of these what if scenarios that I think is bigger than the matches itself at this point. To me, stories is what's driving this. The in-ring work is whatever. Like the War Games match, it takes 30 minutes to get into it. It's whatever. I'm intrigued by how this thing's going to end.
Yeah. Um, I'm of all the matches at War Games, I guess the one I would be most interested in is the triple threat for the Intercontinental
I was just about to
Championship.
say that. Knowing you and knowing your fandom as a wrestling fan, I knew that.
So, what made you think that? What about my fandom?
I just know that you are more of a guy that's more about the in ring work more than the storytelling. And I
It's
think that
interesting you say that because I'm loving this John Moxley Death Rider story over in AEW, and I know what kind of in-ring worker John Moxley is. I didn't get to watch the match at Full Gear, but I've seen highlights, and it was unbelievable from what
Yeah, I think you can get into the story if you know the guy's a good in-ring worker. I think you put it like that in a good way. Where I'm more the I don't care if you're gonna have a good match. The story drives the match for me. Which
I,
again, it's why professional wrestling is so subjective.
yes. And like I'll tell you this. I was more interested in last year's men's Survivor Series match with the Team Cody against the Judgment Day. There was just something about that story and how they told it where I'm like, okay, I'm really into this. Like,
See, I was more interested about would a certain Second City Saint show up to Chicago, Illinois, which was done, in my opinion, perfectly. I know we disagree on that. How funny is it? Just on the topic of him, he's wrestled what 4 matches. The War Games will be his 4th match since he's come back to WWE, and it feels like he's been back for 5 years.
I mean, people are trying to erase his time in AEW. You kind of can't.
I mean, he's kind of trying to do it himself.
He is, and I'm sorry, but you're never going to be able to erase your time in AEW. You're just not. I don't think AEW fans are ever going to forget it in a positive or negative way. So you kind of can't.
I think you could if the backstage incidents didn't happen.
I agree with you. Although I loved the feud between him and MJF while he was in.
Oh yeah, that was. I mean, I think that's right up there to me with his Drew feud, which I think you can make a case him and Drew are the feud of the year in professional wrestling.
I would agree with you on that. I would put Swerve Hangman up there, but it's hard to argue with Punk Drew.
Well, again, I think wrestling days are all subjective. I can't wait for Survivor Series. I don't think it's going to be the greatest show in the world per se until the main event, which again, I don't even think the match is going to be spectacular. I actually thought I was kind of, I got the direction where they're going with 5-on-5. I agree with you. I thought it could have been 4-on-4. I actually thought if they were going to do 5-on-5, and I told you this before, I thought it was going to be Kevin Owens joining the heel side, solo side, and Cody Rhodes.
Okay, we gotta talk about that.
The OG Bloodline side.
They had that promo that Kevin Owens cut on
the promo of his career.
That was
all true.
That 100%, and that match was made official for Saturday night's main event. I know the Randy Orton feud is right there for Cody Rhodes. They've been teasing it. I don't give a damn. Kevin Owens needs to take that title from Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event.
I'll tell you what, if they do it, that'd be a spot to do it. I still don't think it's going to happen because, Josh, I think on the first Raw on Netflix, Cody Rhodes is going to lose his Undisputed WWE Championship.
To Roman Reigns?
No, to the final boss.
You don't think they're going to save that match? Ugh.
I think Cody and Rock, I think The Rock will win the title from Cody on Netflix. They will have the rematch at the Rumble. Cody will probably win, and I think Roman Reigns will win the Rumble. If I'm sitting here today right now, I think your WrestleMania 41 main event is a triple threat between Cody, Rock, and Roman night 2.
I see it, but
the other scenario is Rock retains the title, Randy RKO's Cody, and you have Randy and Cody have a non-title match at Mania, and Rock and Roman.
I see it, but what if they do this? Kevin Owens wins the WWE Championship from Cody, and then at Mania, you do triple threat match. Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. I think
I don't think Cody's walking into the first Raw on Netflix without the title.
I think he is. I think Kevin Owens beats him.
I could be wrong. I hope you're right. Again, this is part of the what ifs in wrestling, which is so cool. I want to give you one more what if before we get out of here. Next Monday on Raw, the New Day's 10-year celebration. Does Xavier Woods turn heel? Do we see the end of the New Day? Or does Big E come back and save the group?
I think New Day splits up.
Okay. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm sitting on pins and needles because I don't know. And I don't know what I want.